Richard Pryor tape, and the name of the tape. And then you had the Walkman, right? And my mama didn't know, but I had the Walkman. I used to get up under the covers, man, and listen to the tape called That Nigga's Crazy.
Radio show, man, they everywhere.
Я скрутил себе потоньше, я выдыхаю с
best jam I have ever eaten.
Oh, wow.
I have that as a testimonial.
И не играй со мной свою роль. Со мной молодые братья. Мы возьмем котлеты наличных себе на завтрак. Сегодня-завтра, неважно как я. You, эй, yeah. Благослови моих братьев, благослови наши руки, мы в поисках больших.
Tune into another episode of Big Dot Radio Show. I'm your host Andres, and I have T-Love here. Y'all might, know him as a DJ and in the music industry, but he's also transitioned into comedy.
Yep.
So let's talk about that. First, what made you want to really get into comedy? Because it is hard to make people laugh, let alone to do it on the stage.
Man, listen, what literally made me, this was after my daughter's, let's go back. Let's go back to 2016.
Okay.
I want to really tell the story. Okay, so it's probably before that, but to actually make me do it. Okay, so 2016, Mailman and DJ Voodoo, we came together and did the Laugh Your Ass Off thing at the Alexander Ballroom. Had Mario Torre, Tyler Chronicles, just name a few. And I was actually DJ and host. And I was just looking at comedy from a certain perspective at that moment. But then fast forward to 2019. 2019 was an open mic at Rigby's, where now I am the host for open mic and karaoke. And it was $100 up for grabs. And I won $100.
That's what's up.
And then I got asked to be the actual host. Because Shane Leverett and Paul McIntyre, Colin P. Mack, they family men, so I'm a family man too, but their family man responsibilities demanded more, so they asked me to be the host. And I was like, okay. No, before that, it was just an open mic, and I did it. This was the first time I actually did just like a joking pattern.
Yeah.
And I post the old video from here and now and then just to show the journey. But then Tall Trey Comedy hosted a $100. I want to make sure that I'm getting it right. $100 contest. And on the way down, I said to myself, I'm finna win this $100. I know I'm winning. I don't care who was showing up. I'm winning the $100. This is pre-pandemic.
Okay.
Went down there. This was shortly after, and it gave me some material. This was shortly after the Capitol bum rush by all the white people in America. That bum rush the Capitol said that Donald Trump said that we were stealing votes. And man, I asked the white people, why y'all so mad? I'm the one getting shot at by the police. And it just went from there. I won $100, got asked to be the open mic karaoke host. And from that point on, I coined My Jokes Matter, right? because I took the Black Lives Matter and my story and my jokes matter. And so then I started doing open mics in Atlanta. And I first got my cherry pop at the Atlanta Comedy Theater. This was January of that 2020 year. And of course, you know, with the pandemic, everything kind of changed and crossed over. But yeah, man, I looked at it differently. But I'm gonna tell you what really made me just tap in. And I know it may sound cliche, but I've always watched comedians, man. Martin is my favorite. The way he hosted Def Jam comedy. And I remember, shout out to my 80s babies. If you're an 80s baby, you know Def Jam comedy was something to see. If you got a cousin or something that had HBO, you can stay up on Saturday night at midnight. Russell Simmons Def Jam comedy hosted by Martin Lawrence. Man, they cussing. They cussing good. And here I am 10, 11 soaking it up. And I'm gonna tell you too, man, a funny story. I had this is when I first fell in love with the art of storytelling, man. Listening to, and I might get killed for this, but I'm grown now, but my Uncle Butch gave me Richard Pryor tape, and the name of the tape, and then you had the Walkman, right? And my mama didn't know, but I had the Walkman. I used to get up under the covers, man, and listen to the tape called That Nigga's Crazy. And Richard Pryor would tell a story, and it seemed like it was a whole bunch of people that, you know what I'm saying? He was just going in, man. It was, you know, and I was just laughing, man. I was like, man, because I visually pictured these people. Robin Harris had a tape called Bebe's Kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm digging in the crates now. And of course, the all famous Eddie Murphy Raw. So fast forward, man, I've always looked at comics, BET Comic View, Ricky Smile as a host, D.L. Hughley, he would really get in the crowd and talk about your whole outfit.
Yeah, I love that.
And talk about, I mean, you know, I'm pretty sure it was some people standing outside waiting on DL, man, because you know he about 5'5". But brother used to talk so much crap, man, and just looking at just the outlook of comedy and telling stories, and even from what they call a main base Saturday Night Live, you know, the Improv. Mad TV, to Nick Cannon's Wildin' Out. So when I decided that I wanted to transition into or add comedy into what it is that I was already doing, so I've been pretty much in entertainment, man, for almost 20 years. And this is actually keeping me young, man. But when I stepped on that stage at the Atlanta Comedy Theater, because I actually got invited by my man Larry Williams, who he and I met, man, accidentally but purposely, back at the Bahama Breeze. That's another long story, but we was sitting at the bar chilling, and I was just acting up. I was dead drunk, I ain't gonna lie. I make everybody laugh, and like, dude, y'all be a comedian. I was like, I don't know what it is. I don't know about that.
But you know, that's the thing that ever since I've known you, you've always had that personality for making people laugh.
Yeah.
And, you know, just spinning your spin on everything and just, you know, being the life of the situation. All right?
Yeah, but you've been on me almost 20 years. Yeah. My first time DJing at Making State. Oh, man. See, you laughing now. Man, listen, man. Rest in peace to Roy Harper, who gave me the first opportunity. I knew nothing about DJing for anything. And Roy Harper entrusted me with the equipment at Making State. So rest in peace. I never really publicly said that. Rest in peace to Roy Harper. He was a great guy. He was an awesome guy, man. But yeah, man, those days was a trip, man, to Making State, man. I ain't do no lesson. We played basketball and party. Let me tell you something about listen, it was something else. But I mean, even then, man, and like you say, man, it's something that I just did. I didn't really asked to do it or propose anything, man. It was just something within me, man. And fast forward now, man, just going into it. And even with DJing, man, I didn't really understand the business structure of actual entertainment. I knew how to entertain, hook up the turntables or give me a microphone and I do this, but the actual business of DJing. And so, you know, even the term "my jokes matter," you know what I'm saying? You know, the love experience of what it is that I'm doing. But yeah, man, when I first stepped on that stage, man, at Atlanta Comedy Theater, because that'll tell you if you know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? At the Atlanta Comedy Theater. And so what I would do, man, I would implement what I knew as a DJ with certain songs and put a comedic twist in it. Yeah. And I was thinking, okay, I got a song.
That's what's up. So have you had the experience yet? Like, you know, a lot of great comedians will tell you that, you know, at some particular point in their career, they have those like bomb shows, right? Yeah. It's just like the jokes are good, but maybe they just not being delivered right, or the audience doesn't connect, because sometimes, like I'll say an example for like Dave Chappelle. Yeah. I look at him as he's funny as shit, but he's also very intellectual. And sometimes you could be too smart for the audience. Right.
Right. Because now, man, Dave is doing these Dave talks. And he just, you know, talking to the crowd as opposed to really telling jokes of early days. But he's older. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's older and he's more wiser and a lot of things, you know, when we're talking about satire, what's the other word I'm looking for? Well, definitely satire. You know, you taking what you see in day-to-day life and adding a comedic twist to it. Sometimes a joke may be too early. Sometimes maybe it will throw the people off, man. But the beauty of it is actually getting put in. And I still get stage fright. To this day. To this day. I still get stage fright.
Is that like a good nervousness?
It's a like, man, you don't know. Yeah. You don't know. I mean, even when I set up the turntables, man, it's just like, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if this gonna move the people. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things. Once I get that first reaction, comedy, which it was 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah. And you just on stage and people looking right at you, and you gotta make me laugh because I done paid my money. You know?
That's that. Okay, so let's dive into the difference between being on stage and just like being in front of a camera or whatever, or your phone or whatever, and making people laugh. One, like, you know, I do the skits and stuff like that, and people laugh at them and they funny or whatever. But I ain't finna run up on stage. Yeah. And, you know what I'm saying? And just like disrespect that craft.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's open because they call it open. And you will tell the difference between somebody who actually taking it serious and somebody just BSing their way through it. But I found something that I could do, and so I was just hitting. The secret was, how can I take the perception and get reception? So shortly, you know, as we begin to progress out of the quarantine into it, and especially quarantine made me start writing down goals and then just start executing. So I was going to these different open mics, and every time I take a picture, every time I post it, and it kind of led up to my very first show that I did back in January at the Piano Bar. I called it a tour, and I wasn't even on tour. But you didn't know it because you saw me at different spots. And I thank you, Making the Middle Georgia, because y'all packed out that Piano Bar downtown on January 7, 2022. And so I met comedians and I recruited them. Say, hey, you ever been to Macon? They're like, nah. I said, well, I'll pay you to come down and do a set, blah, blah, blah. And so that's what separated me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I can use my expertise of DJing and leverage and saying, hey, let me get this spot, let me propose an idea to you how this can work. Boom, get the venue, now I got the acts. now I got to get the DJ, get the videographer, get the photographer. So the behind the scenes thing is, I got like 12 people on payroll. so I done EP, pretty much directed, starred in, and with featured comics. Yep. So My Jokes Matter was a very great success. It was a very cold Friday, and it worked. And from that point on, I then really knew that the reception of Macon, looking at me as a comedian now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now my storytelling, man, I stood on stage probably longer than expected, but I was just so engulfed in what it is that I was doing. To actually stand on stage for an hour plus and tell jokes. Yeah,
That's a long set.
That's a long set.
That's a long set.
And plus you got, the other comics that was before, you know what I'm saying? And people stayed, and so now just trying to compartmentalize what it is, but to still give the people, you paying $20, $25 to some people, that's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm gonna pay $25, I want a great show, because me and my girl, or me and my husband, my wife, whatever, if it's two people or somebody want to get a table, somebody, you know what I'm saying? You get to add that up. And it was like, man, if it ain't funny, they gonna talk about you.
Yeah.
They gonna get on Facebook and they gonna tell people, don't support it. D-Love don't know what the hell he doing. But
I think people, you know what I'm saying, like they should allow people to grow into those spaces too, though, because like sometimes, it can be you're ahead of your crowd. Like I remember when I first did like Banked Out Entertainment and I was doing music promotions.
Yep.
People didn't even know what that was, let alone, you know what I'm saying?
Now was
attracting the
that
right-
at just as a whole, or was it at a particular spot that you were doing that at?
No, I was doing it here. I was doing it in Fort Valley.
Yeah.
And where else? I had somewhere else. And that was like the first company I started. And I just niched it into just music promotion. So if you was an artist, I'll promote your stuff. Here's a contract. I want to make my multiple. Now, I'm not taking your masters or nothing like that. But they didn't understand that. So I was like ahead of my time. And the benefit of it was I got to write off all the expenses or whatever, because I was still working in Norfolk Southern at the time. But it didn't like connect like I thought it should have. Right? And that's why I say that people should allow people to grow into their spaces, because even with like art, whether it be recording, physical art, visual, whatever the case may be, allow those people who are dedicating themselves to that craft to grow into it, because it's going to take a while, because nobody like just hits right away.
No.
All right. Everybody has to like cultivate their audience. And sometimes we forget as consumers that, we have to be cultivated into that craft. So that's why I don't like when say if someone goes on Facebook or whatever and talks about somebody's first really breakout show. I don't like that or whatever, because you're not allowing that person to grow into their craft.
Yeah.
And it could be, a lot of different stuff. You know what I'm saying? That people don't understand behind the scenes that can make stuff not hit. It could be someone being in a bad mood or whatever due to the business side of it. And you're getting on stage and you're trying to suppress those emotions, whatever. And sometimes you're not able to get into the character that you need to be to entertain everybody. Because it is hard as hell making people laugh.
Man, listen, especially, when you go into the other areas where people don't know you, like, say for instance, people know me and make it, so they might just, like you say, familiarize with what I've been doing and just ready to let out, I might check this out, versus going, because I'm actually setting up an actual tour. Like I want to be able to go into Charlotte, North Carolina, South Carolina, Jacksonville, Savannah, you know what I'm saying, Columbus, and different parts of the Southeast region, and actually be able to fly out, let's say Chicago, New York, and everything, spots in between, be able to be on a Carnival cruise ship, which is, when you standing up there. And so this is what I do too. I add in the music. Me being a DJ, I add in the music. So I might tell a story from the first time you was at Skating Rain and you seen the fly girl or whatever, and then, I might play the kissing game, and, they get the people going, and, play, old school booty shake mix, and, tell a story about that. So I really got an advantage with me being a DJ already and telling these stories of what I do. And then I talk about me, man. I talk about being a single father raising 2 kids. I got a 10-year gap in between mine, man. So I'm stuck in between, you know, the high school blues and Paw Patrol, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't know what to do sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, going in and out of child support code, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I ain't supposed to be doing nothing now.
Yeah.
I was just supposed to be a dad and that's it. I got the nerve to actually go ahead and start a business and start telling jokes about it. I ain't supposed to do that. You know what I mean? So baby mamas, them might feel away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hold on, he making that kind of money. You know what I'm saying? But like, he ain't supposed to be doing that. And so
the business making the money.
yeah, the business is making the money. The business is making the money. But you know, it's all. But that's why I say, man, I talk about me. I talk about I'm in child support court on my birthday. A lot of folk didn't know that. I was on my birthday this year. I'm in child support court. This thing felt like a divorce. It's like, sign the paperwork, please. Please sign the paperwork, man. I'm like, I got stuff lined up. You know what I'm saying? And they know that too, cause they looking at Instagram. They don't. I don't follow each other. They, girl, let me see your page. Oh, he doing that. I'm finna try to do. You know, disrupt this, but man, it's all, man, funny games. But on the serious side of it too, man, it's me just being not scared to get on stage, and not scared to put myself out there and say, hey, this is why my jokes matter.
I definitely love that, and I like the fact that you know you're going for it and you're showing other people that they can transition to something or add on, as like you said, to another skill set. So in doing that, like, you know, I love talking about business and everything. How has the business side shaped you, and like, you know, what is something that you've learned from the business side that you necessarily didn't know going into it?
Oh man, get itemization. Hey, I just booked you. Send me an invoice. And some people like, what you mean?
Yeah.
The set that you did for me, you know, that video shoot, I need your invoice. Or hey man, you know, I've been down here for 6 months. I need an invoice of the sales that's been accumulated every time I'm down here. Right? Itemizations. So shout out to Charlotte Ford, who's my tax prep.
Okay.
And she's one of my best friends and my tax prep. So, and just learning just the acumen, tax write-offs, business write-offs, and also being able to give from that business. So say for instance, and that reminds me, because I got to go see Tedra, to be able to give from a business standpoint, and to be able to say, okay, I'm an official business, and this is how I'm operating. So you're no longer talking to Todd. No, you're no longer talking to T Love. No, you're talking to 3D Entertainment LLC. You know, you're talking to the Love Experience. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'll come for free. but if you want the dog and the pony show, yeah. Oh, you want the lights. Oh, you want the little thing that flicker and make the illumination. Oh yeah, that's gonna cost you. You need to talk to my business. So you know, I'm setting that up too, man, to where this phone here ain't even gonna ring. You gonna be talking to a secretary. You be like, and you know, black folk don't like that adjustment. Like he think he all that. Well, I'm supposed to get to that point, ain't I?
I dealt with that. No, I dealt with that when I hired Tori.
I need to speak to Raul. No, you can't. Raul busy. You got to speak to Tori.
A side note, you're the only person who called me Raul. That like that's how we started our friendship. Right. And now I got other people calling me because you know I had to change my Facebook name because I'm rarely getting messages when I should be getting them, and I'm getting her messages.
Because your name is spelled just like
besides the Yeah, this your boy 31 Savage, and you know, got that Click Shop soap, so you can use this for your body and your face. But yeah, but what you do, you just take out that packaging, baby, and you run it over some water. You go ahead and lather it up, yeah, nice and good. And yeah, you run your hand on that smooth bar, across the wrist. Touch those fingers and get in between them. Oh yeah, just bring it back. And once again, yeah. Oh, can't anybody do it like this? Oh yeah, this 7th place champion, you know. Make sure you just rinse it off nice and gently. So I changed it, and I thought that was pretty, you know, that just stood out to me. Now everybody's just calling the road. But I've dealt with that though, and now I think people are more accustomed to it now. But that's the whole thing. Like she got the phone, and people can call, book, and all that stuff or whatever. Because I need to handle other stuff. And like you said, black folks act like you ain't supposed to like get to that
You're
level
not
or
supposed to
whatever.
grow.
And I'm like, why would you want someone just staying plateaued? Because the bigger you get, the more people you're gonna have to hire.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. And looking for currently a social media person. You know, content creator. A young mind that knows how to work that phone, because I'm still prehistoric, believe it or not.
it's a prehistoric.
to this phone, man. I'm like, I don't know how you do that. You know, so I need somebody to make it look as bigger than what it is to attract, you know, TikTok. I don't be on TikTok like that, but I need somebody who can take certain videos and take certain. I really need somebody to follow me every time I do an event because it's always something funny.
Yeah.
It's like last night when we do the ATL at College Park, man. It be something funny because it's comedy night, so I need people to capture that. But you know, and just getting to a point to where you're there and you say, okay, I can really do this. But again, like you just said, I need other people to be great in their lane to make this vision bigger than what it is.
No, definitely. Yeah, I see that growing with you though. It's just a matter of time before you know it really blows up. Because I'm like, you got the personality for it and everything, so I don't see where you would be stifled. But so. Where have you performed? I know you said Atlanta and College Park. Any other places you performed?
Just here in Macon, man. We do every first Friday at Serenity, which I really hosted. And Serenity, shout out my man Ant Howard, is where I did my birthday back in July 2nd. I did 2 shows. I did a 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. And I was bold enough to make Nav Green from the 85 South Show. I said, hey, Nav, you're going to open up for me. So we had a lot of fun with that, and shout out to the Blueprint Band. Again, I add the music with it, man, because I really deep down inside it's this this R&B hip hop, BBD, R. Kelly, well, his music, Jay-Z. You know, man, it's funny with that, man. I actually wrote R. Kelly a letter. You know what it said? He couldn't really read it, but I said, I said, if you can fly, now's the time to do it. If you can fly, now is the time to do it, sir. But yeah, man. So Serenity every first Friday, each and every Thursday we at College Park. But yeah, I'm looking at doing some things. I really shouldn't prematurely say it, but I'm going to be at these different venues that going into 2023, you should see a lot more. And even with me doing these weddings, man, I got invited to Houston, Texas.
That's what's up.
But we haven't, again, put the paperwork. I mean, it just sound good when they be in the moment. And, you know, it is what it is. But I really would like the opportunity to travel. I really want to connect with people, as you know, meeting these comedians and say, like my guy Monty Rogers, who hosts at ATL on Thursdays, he's from Charlotte. And I would say, hey, you from Charlotte? I said, man, you got some next, blah, blah, blah. And just really networking and being able to go to these different spots, man. I want to have it to where you see that traveling van, and you say, oh, that boy on the move down. He done got a van now, so I got everybody packed in. I mean, I got some comedians that I work with, Ebony Ray and Smooth Roy, and man, we just hit it like, you know, just hit the road, hit these different comedy spots, man, and you know, pack that cooler them tater chips and them Capri Suns, man, just hit the road. You know what I'm saying? That's how the comedians used to do back in the day.
But that's how you build your foundation. I think a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, some of the young ones, they forget that because it's so easy, like on the phone. But on the phone, it gives you, I think, false pretenses.
Oh, man, because a lot of followers and likes will have you thinking that you got a lot of followers and likes.
Yeah. And they're just liking it for what it was and not actually you. And going on the road, you're allowed to connect.
Absolutely.
There's a connection there with the audience.
Absolutely.
And they're invested, and so they want to see you, and then they'll support, and then they tell other people about you and all that stuff, whatever. And then when you put out merchandise and all that, I'm like, it's just, that's how you build it. And I think that's the only way you really do build something from the ground up successful.
Yeah, and having investors, man, too.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I need 100 shirts. You got $5,000 so I can get, book this venue, get the merch, boom, and sell it out. Like, you know what I mean? I'm looking for that. You know what I mean? But just building it from the ground up too, like I say, is and this is also important too. Having a job. Having a job. Why do you have to have a job, T-Love? Well, if you weren't blessed with a lot of wealth, you got to go out there and create it.
Yeah.
And why would you cut off, because they get religious too. The Lord told me. Lord told me to quit my job. Did he? Did he tell you to quit that? The God I serve said have a spirit of discernment. If you walked out on faith and walked into debt, now that's a different type of faith right there. I don't know what God you're serving, but my God.
that is a skit into itself.
Yeah,
that's
right, man. Yeah, walk by faith and walk right into debt. Now you trying to negotiate with these bill collectors what the Lord told you. And the Lord looking at you said, son, daughter, I didn't say that. So, having, and I was blessed with the opportunity to work with a company. I can't say the company name because y'all think that I got money. But when because I'm in Atlanta now, so now I'm able to move around in a city where they say it's so saturated, but believe it or not,
it's not.
It's really not that saturated. It looks as though because it's so much moving and shaking, but there are a lot more people than this city, but I have planted my mark. Like, people call me country on my job, right? I said, have you ever been to Macon? They're like, no. I said, well, sir, you're country. You country. I never seen a barn or a farm, okay? But they think anything south of Atlanta is country. I'm like, man, that's foolish thinking. It's foolish thinking.
It is. And I tell people, country is actually rural.
It's rural.
That's what country is.
Right.
Macon is the 4th largest city in Georgia.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, any metropolitan area where you got plenty of folks there will function like a city.
Yeah.
When you leave that city confinement, you're in the rural area, then it becomes country.
Right.
So I'm like, going to Crawford County, that's like country.
That's country. Right. Folk Valley. Baxley, Georgia, Montezuma. Yeah, that's country. And shout out to them country folk, because guess what? They're going to be the first one to support it for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I need, forget the city girls, give me the country girls. Give me the one that can cook and wear them flip-flop with the back of the heel be just a little bit of ashy, but we can work with you. I love you. Absolutely, I do, man. But I'm there, and I'm actually, and this is another thing that I do to segue to, is actually working with the Kroc Atlanta Center right there in Southwest Atlanta in the Pittsburgh community. Through the Salvation Army. Okay. So I've started my skills and drills basketball training camp. It's after school. Okay. And we're about to go into 2023, man. We're gonna have like 250 kids. And I'm gonna have these middle schools, man, coming in January, and so they really want to start like AAU and things of that nature. But on the faith-based side, it's a faith-based initiative. So we're teaching kids to have the P4:13, the Philippians 4:13 is something with the I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So you're taking the skill set of basketball and you're taking Bible-based fundamentals and applying it to them, because the Pittsburgh community, if you ever know anything about Atlanta, right off of Cleveland Ave, it reminds me of Macon, actually. It reminds me of the South Side, man. It reminds me of Pleasant Hill. You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of when I come up and at Booker T. Washington over there in 2nd Street Boy Club. It looks, this part of Atlanta where man, it actually looked like the South Side. It looks like House and Avenue.
Yeah.
And I proposed the idea to them, and I'm working there. And that's what I do. Soon as I get out my 10-hour job, I dedicate about 3 more hours to the Salvation Army, and I serve as Coach D. And they're very, very hyper and loving and aggravating and beautiful, ugly set of children. No, I'm teasing. But nah, there's some great souls. But I got the little babies, the 8, 9, and 10-year-olds. But we're getting ready to go into the middle schoolers, and we're gonna start, because they're like, they want to start right now. I say, let me get my mind and body right. Let's get the holidays over with. And so we're gonna start in January. So that's the thing that I'm doing on that end, from somewhat of a philanthropy, but a social engagement. So I'm building that platform with Skills and Drills, which is then going to branch off into my Girl Dad. And I wanted to do this too, man. Shout out to the Lady Raiders. I don't know if you can see it. Shout out to the Lady Raiders flag football team. My daughter Kendall, she's number 2. This is the first year that they're doing flag football, and I'm about to launch my Girl Dad initiative with the fathers of the girls who play for the Lady Raiders. Man, we're going to start the Girl Dad initiative, and it's going to be an engaging to where fathers are not just supporting on the court or off the court, on the field, off the field, but from an emotional standpoint, we get from a business standpoint, educational, real estate, just always in all the different ways in between is fathers transitioning from the penal system to freedom, and they got to know how to adjust to this new wave of technology and in parenting. And there's fathers that's coming from the military, from deployment, they're coming back in, and they might have PTSD. So we want to. I'm serving as a beacon, man, to do like these outsourced, what's the word for it? Resources, yeah. And for girl dads, and I'm calling it global. And leading up to June, where we're gonna have the 1 million man post. So I'm encouraging 1 million men to post a picture or video on Father's Day before 11 o'clock. In 2023 in June. So I want the my pages and all the tags to be, I'm gonna have 1 million man, so I'm gonna be leading up to that in June. So we're doing some things like that, man. And again, man, I'm just setting the foundation for myself, but I'm gonna be inviting other professionals because I can't do it all by myself. So I'm using my platform of comedy and entertainment to get that out.
That's what's up, man. You doing all right. So for anybody out there, let them know if they want to like support in any type of manner, volunteer, donations, sponsorships, all that stuff, regardless of the avenue of you doing things, whether it's comedy, working with, the Salvation Army and stuff, and, helping with the kids. Let them know where they got to, go to and be directed to.
Awesome. So you can hit up T-Love. I'm on Facebook, but that's about to, they give you a cap on the Facebook. So if you can go to my page and like my page at djt.luv. You can follow me on Instagram at IAMTLUV, as well as YouTube, where you can see some of my comedy stand-up. The one I did recently at Uptown Comedy was a clean set. We had some fun with that. That's at IAMTLUV. And also you can send me a email at www.THELUVEXPIERENCE@gmail.com. The Love Experience 630@gmail.com. I know you're gonna write it on the screen.
Yeah.
I had to even think about it like that. So you can send me an email. Big thing coming up December 2nd. we're doing toys and toiletries at Serenity. It's going to be the Christmas comedy show. I got Eric Bailey out of Savannah. I got comedian Ray Jackson, a.k.a. Big Play Ray, out of Atlanta. We're going to have a great time that night. I got my band Kenny Pratt. We're going to be doing some Christmas keyboard renditions, man. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. Let me see what else is going on. Like I say, each and every Thursday, we're at ATL in College Park. Holla at me. It's right up the road, like an hour on a good Thursday. If you want to come and join us, we got open mic for the comics on that night as well. Going into 2023, we're doing More Mike Jokes Matter. So I'm looking for other comics in the area of the 478, 404 and beyond. And yeah, man, so we're doing the Girl Dads initiative that's going to launch. You're going to see me at the Lady Raiders game, pumping up the Girl Dads Global. And you'll also catch me at St. Peter Claver doing my parenting volunteer, because I got to get back over there and clean up the lunchroom. When I get some downtime, I'm going to go over there and do that. So yeah, that's it, man. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram. Send me an email. Let me know. I'm looking for other entrepreneurs to help me with the social media engagement. And if you want to, get an internship, I'm open for that up under my business acumen, man. Raul, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much, my brother. Keep on doing what you're doing. Bank.radio, yours truly, T-Love.
And he just closed it out for me.
Good white diamond, let's see. Anybody else 50 and over? 50 and over, make some noise. 50, you 50 and over, 50 and over, come on! That's what I'm talking about. Double ARP. That's what I'm telling you. You better claim it. You better claim it in Jesus' name. Yeah. I just love having fun, y'all. My name is T-Love. I'm from
Со мной молодые братья. Мы возьмем котлеты наличных себе на завтрак.